All right, guys, welcome back today. All right, so today I'm pretty stoked because Skylit AI is has been really consistent, and today my profit potential was a lot higher than what I really realized on what I can achieve. Today, let's go over the small caps pretty briefly because today I was kind of pissed. I started off the morning not so great, lost $33, and what I wanted to show is that look, I know the news on the PDT rule that has been amended or not amended, or I guess that's the right word, right? It went through, so now the limit should go from 25 to 2,000 in about 45 days, and then I guess brokers have I think 18 months to incorporate that, but it should go into effect in 45 days. What I'm saying is, look, I've been able to trade on Thinkorswim without the PD2 rule even applying. My funds have been instantly settling. Look, this is technically, almost basically 700, maybe $800 worth. I'm gonna show you my buying power. This is my current buying power right now. So yeah, I lost $33 today, but my buying power, and tomorrow I'm gonna be able to trade. If my funds were strictly on the cash account, which it is a cash, it's a cash account. I promise it's not margin. Like you would know it's margin. On a cash account, I wouldn't have been able to take this many trades. Maximum maybe would have been 150 shares. I was able to trade 100. I was able to trade 500 shares total. Now I kind of got a little greedy today, and I didn't take my profit initially. Like I was up $27, and I was being an idiot trying to overtrade BT. First thing that went up, and then I was like, I'm going back to sleep. So I was early in the morning. So let's get that FUD out the way because that kind of pissed me off. I didn't really like how, you know I didn't like how I traded that, but 352 today. So Skylit AI, I traded SPXW. So I'm gonna go over that first because the king node matters on Skylit. So I'm gonna show you guys. So it has the three SPX, SPY, and QQQ. Mind you, one contract I made 125, and these went up to $800. And I'm gonna show you guys a clip on what I missed out on and my SPY call. There was this one a little bit far out the money. This one I did take out from the Discord call. But these were completely mine. These QQQs and SPX were completely mine. So I log on, I'm looking at the charts, and I have this on Robinhood too. This is where I entered right here, and this is where I exited. And we went higher and hit 6,960. Look at this. This is what I noticed, that today was going to be a good day, but I didn't want to get greedy. Well, one, I had a whole day ahead of me. I had to go to school. So let's play this. So 928, 929. Look at the open. Ready? Boom. You'll see instant king node period right here. 6,960. That's what I noticed. I'm also looking at QQQ. I'm checking out the environment. Right now, SPY looking like a negative gamma environment. Our king nodes at the top. This is really good. This means that there's going to be a lot of potential volatility. Increased volatility, trend will follow through. If there's more of a positive gamma environment, which like we're seeing QQQ, like I said, it's going to be a little bit choppy. I think a little bit in the beginning, it did seem a little bit choppy. So, okay, look, we're already 20 minutes in, 20 minutes, 30 minutes in. That node was there. I already had taken my position because I was like, hey, that means something. I've seen that before, and I fitted it one time, but I have to look at the chart first. So, first thing first, QQQ. The chart was already bullish as fuck. Mega bullish. Continuation after continuation. This MACD was already turning green, and I like how this trade. I'm going to tell you guys, I felt like today was the easiest price action I've ever traded since the war has started, or I guess since March. Like, this trade price action felt actually right. Like, it didn't fall through. It followed through the whole day. So I took my first 622 calls. I waited until it made a first high, 621.97, and it went down. I was like, you know what? It's going to break. It's following the trend. 15 minutes good, and I'm seeing, this is considered a floor. Now, any other future orders, the other order I'm seeing building up is 626. So we have a range between 620 and 626. And that's how they have you define it. They tell you, okay, how's the environment? What are your ranges? What are your king nodes? You have to know what the environment is. And then, but look at the chart first. So the chart did support calls. So I took one entry here, took toward the floor. Then on the pullback, on this doji candle right here, I got on one, and it pulled back into the view app. I'm like, nope, I'm taking one right here. Then as soon as it squeezed up again, took another one, and this was all based on the 1 minute as well. But generally, I took everything before basically 7, and it kept going further. I took 3 off the table. I took 3 off the table for the 622 calls, and yes, I'm loving options way more now because of this tool. So I took 3, and then I profited 155. Okay, good. And I took it off the table. I was like, let me leave some runners. Let me see if this can break through 623. And it kind of struggled a little bit. I wasn't able to get out. These hit like 90, I think it's eights, and then kind of retraced. I'm like, you know what? Let me just take the profit. I will take it. I'll take it. But at the same time, I also took SPXW. SPXW, which is SPX, you know, it was far out the money, and I did that because of the King node. So these will trading SPX is very, very risky. I don't recommend new people trading it. I don't recommend it. It is very, very, like, ugh. So okay, look, it's very volatile. Like, if it immediately starts going down the wrong way, you could be down like $50 within seconds. The most I was down was $40. This was from the day today. So look how it was. Look how much it went up. This went up a little bit higher because 854 is not when it peaked. It was like I think around 854. Yeah, it was still 9,555. It did peak around 9,660. It did peak around there. It did break a little bit higher, but that's what I'm saying. So on here, as soon as I noticed that, I'm like, hey, there's a little bit of a disconnect between the SPX, SPY, and the QQQ, but SPX, this order is building up, and I'm like, hey, I can't ignore that. I need that. That means something, and I took my profits. I know how very risky trading SPX can be. And that's why I took my profit. I didn't expect holding it, but now seeing it with my own eyes, okay, if chart is respecting its trends, and we're having a consensus between all three nodes, then I can hold. I can maybe buy two, take profit on one, and let the other one run. You know, and it did dip, and yeah, even though my money was out the mine was out the money, you know, on these dips might seem a little bit scary because it's out the money kind of far, but SPX does or it can move pretty well. I've seen this move like over 100 points in a single day, and it's absolutely crazy. Last year, it moved up like I think 500 points. I don't remember, but it was that one time in April. But it usually moves like 30 to 60. I don't know the average range. But anyways, on these little dips, you might be a little bit worried, but you know, we started squeezing all the way up, and I was like, holy shit. I looked at the contract and I was like, wow, these like 6x 7x basically. So it's actually crazy. So don't fade the king node. So I'm gonna keep playing this because around this time I exited my final position around 7:30. So around 7:30, um so this is considered a floor. I'm still learning, I guess, you know. What they were looking at too, people in the Discord, there these people who have been using this tool for longer than I have. These are barnacle nodes. These barnacle nodes and their negative gamma too means the volatility is expected and it will fall through. And we're gonna see that how instantly this starts changing to purple and how the price starts moving up. Now this is just looking at, you know, the Skylit AI, but this is still good. What I've been told or I've been read that this king node acts like a magnet, a big magnet, because it's a big order, so it's gonna bring the price up, because you know the hedges or the dealers, you know, are forced to buy in, you know, forced to buy. Again, I don't know the details about all that stuff too much in detail, but if a negative and gamma environment supports a move continuously, and if dealers are forced to buy in or sell, whichever direction goes, then it's going to be pretty good to hold for longer to, you know, maintain those gains. And you see the order keeps building up. These are Pika clouds. Pika clouds are here. Pika nodes, green, positive, not good because usually it's going to keep the price stable, but it can also be used as, I guess, a floor. Right now it's establishing a floor because we ended up going a little bit higher, like to 694, I believe. And you see, look, you already saw that how the order at 6,960 kept building up. That price kept on going higher and higher on the index. And then new king nodes started being formed at QQQ. QQQ was at 623 and hit 625. Now, I did miss on some profit, and maybe a good entry would have been here. But I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not gonna just overtrade. Let's see what happens. I'd rather just have this work right in front of my eyes. And yeah, you know, you can't always rely on this tool. You have to rely on your own intuition, which makes me feel good because that makes me feel like, okay, I'm interpreting things correctly and things are going the right way. And if I'm seeing, you know, these negative gammas and barnacle nodes, that's something not to fade, something to pay attention to, and you know, we'll likely be squeezing. So 11:30, so right here, This is when we started squeezing up all the way from 623 to 626, and that's what happened. You know, here at 625, the order kept building up. So I hopefully that made sense. Now I took these SPY calls at 693, and I had to exit early. You can see here. Actually, we'll go on the chart on where we're trading. I had to exit these a little bit early because, like I said, I had a full day ahead of me. I didn't want to be stuck in class trying to just monitor my position. I need to pay attention. But I was like, damn, I kind of regret it now because I exited, like I said, on these pullback, my contracts were down a few dollars and then it got back up. They only lost around $4. So I was like, okay, that's not too bad, but let me just not be greedy. But it's $30, low risk, high reward, and $30 is the most you would lose. But since I have this tool, maybe I should let that risk take off, especially since then this index pulled the price about 40 points from when it opened. Because I mean, look, when we opened, we were at 920. Now we're at like 960. Like, it's ridiculous. Those contracts went up so much, and this is why I love options. So yeah, I faded here, and right before it started to rip. Now I'm gonna look here. I'm gonna show you guys how these calls went up. They went up to like from $30 all the way up to 120. Right now they were 93, but these were the highest I think I saw them were like 123. That was the highest. So I was like, okay, that's sick. You know, three, I guess, QQQ, the SPX. So I took two trades on those. So 2 out of 3. And then that small one was not that much of a loss. So I'll take it. So I thought that was pretty crazy. Let's see. I thought I was going to be too greedy, but I got to be careful. Now look at the QQs. These went up to 500 because QQQ kept on running up to 928 too. Now see the highest these peaked at the time were 414. So 414 or 845. This is 8 for me. Yeah. When you see 11 here, this is 8 a.m. for me. I missed this whole move just letting that profit ride. And on the 15-minute, how does that look? Man, that 15-minute is just beautiful. The 5-minute chart looked so beautiful today. 15-minute looked beautiful. Got in, little consolidation, squeeze up. Consolidation, squeeze up, and just kept on going. That is chef's kiss price action. And that's what I'm looking for, But today I wish I had longer, but it's okay. I took my profit. I'll take my profits, Now I know what I'm looking for. Now I know, okay, positive gamma environment, just wait till things shift. Now let's fast forward a little bit on the Skylit so that way you guys can see, because this ended up squeezing up to 620. I was surprised that QQQ went up to 628. I was not expecting that. I was expecting 626 based on how these nodes are starting to stack up. This, order just kept on staying still. Okay, well before it was at 626, kept building up. Slowly kept moving. This apparently is called a rolling of floors, so the flooring keeps getting brought up, But I was a little bit thrown off. I was a little bit thrown off because there's a disconnect between the three, and I was like, okay, why is there a difference on SPY? There's more negative gamma exposure here. There's positive gamma exposure, so I'm like, I don't know, So let's keep going. Let's see what happened. I know what happened, but I'm just keep fast forwarding. So you see those orders kept stacking up, and 628 started appearing on the order flow. And obviously the chart has to match with what you're seeing. So look at that change between 120 Eastern time, 119, 120. Like in the span of 3 minutes, the order flow completely jumped. So that stands out. So let's see on here. This is like the 1300 right here. This pullback right here, the 9 EMA, boom, it ripped all the way up to 628. Guys, I think this tool is honestly the best thing ever. I'm shocked. Me and my brother were kind of in disbelief, like, whoa, like I literally just bought a call. I mean, I had to look at the chart. You have to look at the chart. Look at the chart. I'm like, okay, this is looking pretty good. We're on a continuation. This one was the most riskiest one because the way it moves, it's very, very risky. And at least your contracts will suffer a lot. If it starts going the wrong way immediately, you're gonna get fucked. Don't trade those. Just be careful. Just be careful. So now this environment turned negative. Now it's like, okay, a flush is possible. From what I've learned, these negative environments, a flush is possible between these levels. Now, we did. You can see here at some point at 2, we dumped all the way to 626, 620. Yeah, you see, it's around 2. So we hit a peak at 628, and then that environment turned negative. Now things could start to flush. We hit all the way to 625. Sorry about that. So yeah, just crazy. And the price kept staying pinned at this level. At some point, you know, I mean, at the end of the last hour, things are going to stay stagnant. This is obviously, these are Pika clouds, definitely. The order, like I said, King Node is where the order is going to get pinned to. So I thought that was absolutely crazy. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today. Hopefully this is very helpful. If you guys are interested in trading options, I think this is a very important tool. On the week, let's see. I don't know. People are now anticipating a flush. Like I think what is this day 8? No, day 9. I don't know. We have a gap to fill. Um, I might go live tomorrow. I might go live tomorrow for small caps. Um, I think with the news, the PD2 rule change, I can anticipate tomorrow we could see some good stuff. But I don't know. That's just me going based off the momentum and hype. So we still have a gap to fill. It's hard to play those. I was looking at these levels. So here, I'm going to reset these. Remove drawings, not indicators. We don't want that. Okay, so we hit a bulk. Well, I like to zoom in. Weekly is really important. So we can anticipate hard rejection at 630. Say price is held at 628. I need to see how the nodes are looking at the open tomorrow. 630 seems to be potential area of resistance, psychological resistance as well. And then from there, we have 637, which is all-time highs. Guys, we already QQQ within a matter of 3 weeks recovered, a downtrend of, let's see, we started trending down since beginning of January or end of January. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 weeks of trending down, recovered in 3 weeks. That tells me that the market's very strong. Trump obviously has a lot to do with it, but the dips are always bought. So I'm like, holy shit. Okay, so I just hope I can maximize profit at some point. Let some runners run. Um, Best case scenario is basically today. Today's best case scenario. If we end up going down tomorrow, I'm looking for a straight continuation down, straight chop, not chop, straight flush down. If calls are it, if puts are it, I mean, but if we'll find out. So yeah, take care, guys, and hopefully this was very, very good. And, worth your time learning. Take care, guys. Peace.